Welcome back to your channel, the place where stories become lessons and lessons become strength. Tonight, we explore the life of a man the world calls the Prince of Mathematics. But behind that title was a childhood of poverty, a life of loneliness, and a heart shaped by struggle. This is the story of Carl Friedrich Gauss, a boy born into hardship, a mind that refused to be ignored, and a man who turned pain into brilliance. A story not just about mathematics, but about resilience, identity, and the courage to rise, even when the world gives you nothing. Sit back, breathe, let this story speak to the part of you that still believes in possibility. Part 1. The child who counted before he could speak. Genius is not born in comfort. It is born in struggle. Carl Friedrich Gauss was born in 1777 in Brunswick, Germany, to a family so poor that survival was the only priority. His father was a laborer, strict and uneducated. His mother was kind but semi-literate. They had no books, no money, no dreams beyond the next meal. Yet something extraordinary happened. Before Gauss could speak full sentences, he could calculate. His mother said he corrected his father's payroll sums when he was barely 3 years old, and according to historical accounts, Gauss learned to calculate before he could talk. Imagine that, a toddler in a house with no books, teaching himself mathematics. But genius is often invisible in poor homes. His father didn't understand him. He didn't encourage him. He didn't celebrate him. Gauss grew up in silence, a quiet child with a storm inside his mind. And from this childhood, he learned his first lesson. Your beginnings do not define your destiny. Part 2. The moment that changed everything. One teacher. One moment. One spark. At age 7, Gauss entered school. He was small, shy, and poorly dressed. No one expected anything from him. One day, the teacher gave the class a task. Add the numbers from 1 to 100. A problem meant to keep the children busy for an hour. But Gauss looked at the numbers and saw a pattern. 1 plus 100 equals 101. 2 plus 99 equals 101. 3 plus 98 equals 101. 50 pairs. Each pair equals 101. So the total was 50 times 101 equals 5,050. He wrote the answer in seconds. His teacher was stunned. This moment is documented in multiple biographies. And from that day, Gauss was no longer invisible. His teacher found him books, his mother encouraged him quietly, and soon the Duke of Brunswick heard about the boy genius and offered him financial support to study. Gauss learned his second lesson. Sometimes all you need is one person who believes in you. Part 3. A mind that could not be stopped. When the world gives you a chance, take it and run. With the Duke's support, Gauss entered higher education. He devoured mathematics, languages, astronomy, geometry, anything he could find. By age 18, he had already made discoveries that would change mathematics forever. He independently discovered major theorems, including the law of quadratic reciprocity and the arithmetic geometric mean. He was unstoppable, but his life was not easy. He was still poor, still lonely, still carrying the emotional weight of a harsh father and a childhood without affection. He worked alone. He trusted no one. He shared little. Because when you grew up in survival mode, you learn to depend only on yourself. And yet, he kept going. He kept learning. He kept discovering. He kept rising. Because Gauss understood something powerful. Your circumstances may limit your comfort, but they cannot limit your potential. Part 4, the discovery that shook mathematics. Greatness is not loud, it is patient. At age 19, Gauss made a discovery that would echo through centuries. For more than 2,000 years, mathematicians believed it was impossible to construct a 17-sided polygon using only a compass and straight edge. Impossible, unthinkable, a dead end. But Gauss, he didn't believe in dead ends. He believed in patterns. He believed in logic. He believed in the quiet voice inside him that whispered, "There is always a way." And so, after months of silent work, he found the solution. A breakthrough so elegant, so unexpected, so revolutionary, that it changed geometry forever. When he told his professor, the man stared at him in disbelief. This was not the work of a student. This was the work of a master. Gauss had learned another lesson. Limits exist only until someone refuses to accept them. Part 5. The burden of a brilliant mind. Genius is a gift and a weight. As Gauss grew older, his mind became sharper, but his heart became heavier. He saw patterns everywhere, in numbers, in stars, in nature,
in life.
But this clarity came with a cost. He struggled to connect with people. He struggled to express emotions. He struggled to feel understood. He once wrote, "I have my ideas, but no one to share them with." He lived inside his mind, a beautiful but lonely place. And this is a truth many gifted people face. Being exceptional often means being misunderstood. Gauss carried that loneliness quietly, like a shadow that never left him. Part 6. Love, lust, and the pain that shapes us. The tragedy that broke him, and the strength that rebuilt him. Despite his brilliance, Gauss longed for something simple. Love. He found it in Johanna Osthoff, a warm, gentle woman who brought light into his quiet world. For the first time, Gauss felt seen. He felt understood. He felt human. They married. They had children. They built a small, peaceful life. But life is not always kind to gentle hearts. After their third child, Johanna fell ill, very ill. Gauss stayed by her side, holding her hand, praying silently, hoping for a miracle. But the miracle never came. Johanna died at age 27. Gauss was shattered. He wrote in his diary, "She was the sunshine of my life. Now all is darkness." He fell into deep grief. He stopped working. He stopped speaking. He stopped caring. But life was not finished testing him. Just months later, his newborn son, the child Johanna never got to hold, also died. 2 losses, back to back. 2 pieces of his heart. Torn away forever. Gauss learned a lesson he never wanted. Even the greatest minds cannot escape the pain of being human. But he also learned something else. Grief does not destroy you. It reshapes you. Slowly, painfully, Gauss returned to mathematics. Not because he wanted to, but because it was the only place where the world made sense again. Part 7. The weight of perfection. Brilliance is a blessing and a prison. After the deaths of his wife and child, Gauss threw himself into work, not out of passion, but out of survival. Mathematics became his refuge, his shield, his escape. But Gauss had a flaw. He demanded perfection from himself. He refused to publish work he felt was incomplete. He hid discoveries for years. He polished ideas endlessly, terrified of being wrong. Historians estimate that Gauss discovered many mathematical breakthroughs decades before others, but he kept them locked inside his notebooks. Why? Because he believed, if it is not perfect, it is not worthy. This perfectionism made him a legend, but it also made him suffer. He carried the weight of his own expectations, like a stone on his back. And here lies a powerful lesson. Perfection is not the goal. Progress is. Gauss learned this too late, but you don't have to. Part 8. The world that misunderstood him. Genius often walks alone. Gauss became famous, respected, admired, but fame did not bring him joy. It brought pressure, it brought isolation, it brought expectations he never asked for. Students feared him, colleagues envied him, friends were few. He was polite, but distant, kind, but guarded, brilliant, but lonely. He once said, "I have lived my life in a world of numbers, but not in a world of people." He struggled to connect. He struggled to trust. He struggled to belong. And this is a truth many gifted people face. The higher your mind climbs, the fewer people can follow. Gauss walked a path few could understand. Part 9. The second marriage, the second loss. Life tests those it intends to shape. After years of loneliness, Gauss remarried to Minna Waldeck, a gentle, intelligent woman who brought stability into his life. For a moment, Gauss felt hope again, a chance at healing, a chance at companionship. But life, once again, was not gentle with him. Minna fell ill, slowly, painfully, unavoidably. Gauss watched helplessly as the second woman he loved slipped away from him. When she died, Gauss wrote, "My heart has been broken twice. I fear it will never fully mend. 2 wives, 2 losses, 2 chapters of love, ending in grief." But Gauss did not collapse. He did not surrender. He did not give up. He carried his pain the same way he carried his genius, quietly, with dignity, and with a determination to keep moving forward. And from this suffering, he learned, pain does not stop your journey. It becomes part of it. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you been hurt and still kept going? How many times have you lost something, but refused to lose yourself? Gauss teaches us, strength is not the absence of pain. Strength is the decision to continue. Part 10. The final years. A mind that never stopped. Age slows the body, but not the spirit. As Gauss entered the final decades of his life, his hair turned white, his back bent slightly, but his mind remained sharp enough to cut through problems you and I can barely understand. He became the director of the Göttingen Observatory. He studied astronomy. He predicted planetary orbits with astonishing accuracy. He helped develop the telegraph. He contributed to statistics, physics, geodesy, and number theory. But even as his achievements grew, his heart remained quiet and heavy. He rarely smiled. He rarely celebrated. He rarely shared his thoughts. He once said, "I have had my successes, but I have also had my sorrows." He carried both with equal weight. And yet, in his silence, he continued to inspire generations of scientists who would build on his work for centuries. Gauss learned something profound. Your influence is not measured by how loudly you speak, but by how deeply your work touches the world. Part 11. The man who could not stop thinking. Even in old age, the mind of a genius refuses to rest. Gauss had a habit, a strange one. He carried a small notebook everywhere, filled with ideas, formulas, patterns, and questions. Even in his 70s, he would wake up at night to write down a thought before it disappeared. He once told a student, "If I do not write it down, the idea will punish me until I do." His mind was both a gift and a relentless companion. He could not turn it off. He could not escape it. He could only follow it. And yet, this constant thinking was also his comfort. It kept him alive, it kept him curious, it kept him connected to the world in a way nothing else could. Gauss teaches us, your passion is not your burden, it is your anchor. Part 12. The Last Conversation. Wisdom distilled into a single moment. In his final years, Gauss spent more time reflecting than calculating. One evening, a young student asked him, Master Gauss, what is the greatest lesson you have learned? Gauss paused. He looked out the window. He watched the sunset fade into darkness. Then he said quietly, the greatest discoveries are not in mathematics, but in understanding oneself. The student waited. Gauss continued, numbers are infinite. Life is not. Use your time well. It was the closest he ever came to giving life advice, and it was perfect. Part 13. The Final Day. The Quiet Ending of a Loud Legacy. February 23rd, 1855. Kettingen, Germany. Carl Friedrich Gauss sat in his chair, wrapped in a blanket, eyes half closed. He was tired, not from age, but from a lifetime of thinking, feeling, loving, losing, and rising again. He whispered something. Only the walls heard. I have done what I could. And then, with the same quiet dignity that defined his entire life, he took his final breath. No drama, no spectacle, just peace. A peaceful ending for a man whose mind had shaped the world. Part 14. The Legacy of a Quiet Genius. What Gauss leaves behind, and what we carry forward. Today, Gauss's work forms the foundation of modern mathematics, physics, astronomy, statistics, and even technology. Every GPS device, every satellite, every statistical model, every electrical system, every scientific calculation carries a piece of Gauss inside it. But his true legacy is not his formulas. It is his lessons. Lesson 1. Your beginnings do not define your future. Gauss rose from poverty to greatness. Lesson 2. One person believing in you can change everything. A teacher changed his life. Lesson 3. Pain shapes you, but it does not destroy you. He lost love twice, and still continued. Lesson 4. Perfection is a prison. Progress matters more than flawlessness. Lesson 5. Your legacy is built quietly in the work you do every day. Gauss never sought fame, he sought truth, and truth made him immortal. Thank you for staying with me through this journey. If Carl Friedrich Gauss's story touched you, if it made you think, if it reminded you of your own strength, then carry this with you. You do not need a perfect life to create something meaningful. You do not need applause to make an impact. You only need courage, the courage to keep going, even when life is heavy. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs inspiration today. This is your channel where every story is a lesson, and every lesson is a step toward becoming the person you were meant to be. Thank you for watching. Take care of your heart, and I'll see you in the next story.